Hey guys, just giving you an update on things. Sorry about the been a minute since I posted. Been a couple of weeks, but I've been down helping my friend. Recently his brother passed away, and I have been down here helping him get his house in order and kind of go through his brother things and get his brother's room set up again for rent out, I guess. And yeah, so I've been in the Bay Area doing that for about the last week and a half now. Anyway, a couple of things I wanted to talk about this morning is I know I look like crap because it's morning time and I haven't even done my makeup or gotten a shower yet, but I haven't had time to do a video where I've been by myself to where I can just kick back and talk in a while, so I figured I might as well take the opportunity right now, despite how I look. So I hope you don't mind me looking like this, but anyway, there's a couple of things I want to talk about this morning. First, I'll give you an update on my father-in-law. It turns out he finally told my mother-in-law that he's trying to work through his issues with it, and that he was scared that I was gonna kind of show up in a dress and just really throw it in his face. And I want you to know that I don't think that transgender people will do that. I think that somebody in my situation who came out and is looking to be accepted, first of all, it's not going to make somebody feel uncomfortable that they love. And second of all, is they want you in their life, because he's been a cornerstone in my life for a long time. I've always loved Rick, and it's one of those things that you just don't turn your back on, and you wouldn't do that. It wouldn't make somebody feel more uncomfortable if you didn't have to. So yeah, I would show up in girl clothes, but I would not show up and be a jerk or be overly feminine, I guess, for your sake, Rick. And that's all I can ask. I can, if he's actually thinking about it and we're trying to work through the issue versus just writing me off, that's great. That's all I can ask for, and that's all anybody could ask for in my situation. Is I was concerned and upset more that it didn't matter to him, and that he was just going to write me off due to his outdated beliefs. And it turns out that he's trying to work through it now, so that's good. And I appreciate it very much. That's all. That's, like I said, that's all we can really hope for, is the fact that someone is going to work through these issues and still realize that I'm a family member, and that writing me off would be the wrong thing to do, even though you don't understand it. And if you can't eventually work through these issues, at least I know now that my daughter can still go to your house, because I know that you're not going to be teaching her hate. The way you left it before, the way Rick had, left it before was, it's wrong, I'm going to hell type thing, and that's that. There was no changing his mind, there was no thinking about it, there was no trying to work through the issue. There's just none of that. So now I feel a little bit better knowing that he is going to try and work it out, and by the time my daughter gets here, hopefully he'll have his issues, me and him will have our issues resolved, and life will go on like normal for us this summer. Also, if you're wondering why this eye looks a little funny, is because I have a crazy story to tell, and it has to do with transgender in the medical system. And basically the other day, my eye got really messed up, and I was like, what the hell? So I finally went into the emergency room. It turns out I had ititis. I never even heard of the thing. And it's kind of like arthritis in your eye that you need anti-inflammatories to fix, and it can cause blindness and all kinds of stuff. So I went to the emergency room to get it, to get checked out. And they prescribed me the antibiotics and the anti-inflammatories that you drip into your eye, and it's going to clear it up. Needless to say, it's a wild thing, because I went to, even though I have health insurance and through the state of California, I went into Walgreens to get my prescription filled, and they wouldn't cover me. And I was like, what the hell? And they said, oh, they're they just don't have it set up in their computer, or you don't even qualify for this. And I said, well, so I called my healthcare worker to the county up there in El Dorado County where I live, and she said, no, you're eligible for it, So I called Blue Cross, the company who gives me the insurance, and they said, no, you're fine. Needless to say, I still hadn't been reimbursed for anything, and I still felt that a lot because it was $120 for this little bottle of eye drops, and basically what's happened with that is I live in a small town, and there's no transgender doctors in El Dorado County that will see me, and there is none, period. So I'm forced to go to Sacramento, which I don't mind. I love Sacramento. That's where I spend most of my time, to find a doctor that would see a transgender person. And basically I had to get an exemption from El Dorado County that was saying I could go into Sacramento County and get my primary care from there. So if anybody in El Dorado County is watching, you guys need to step up to the plate a little bit and realize that I can't be the only transgender person in El Dorado County that needs care. And maybe you guys can work on a doctor who would be willing to see us. So that's kind of weird. It's kind of trippy. I know anybody else on the planet would just walk in and they'd get their medical, and then they would even be able to go to the doctor, any doctor out there. And it is a different set of things for transgender people when we have to find a doctor that's willing to continue our hormone therapy, and we have to find a doctor that's somewhat knows about how to treat a transgender person, what to do with their blood work, and all the other things that go along with it. And also we have to find a way to communicate with transgender people on a personal level, and on levels that they would have an open ear to understand what it's like to be a male who's taking estrogen and female growth hormones. So there's some things that El Dorado County needs to work on. I know that there's some things that the nation needs to work on as far as healthcare for transgender people. Don't get me wrong, the state of California is great. They will cover a lot of things for transgender people, and that's awesome, but it's smaller towns that across the United States that are in need seriously of a little bit of help from the bigger ones, or a little bit of guidance, just so that they're ready for all patients that come into their facilities. And transgender people, it might be a small percent of the patients that they get, but it should be someone they should be thought about, at least, and considered. Anyway, that's enough about that, and I wanted to address one more thing. So this is gonna just be kind of like an update video, what's going on in my. And I want to say to Katrina, she had posted a question online in my comments about something about allowing stress, and allowing stress to affect my life like it has. And maybe that was just it. She didn't understand why so many people do. And what I can say to you is, try and push yourself in our shoes. Try and put yourself in our shoes and walk a mile in them, and see that it's a lot different than just clothes and makeup, like you state. It's not material things. It's like, say you were born a natural girl, and there was no explanation why. There was no explanation to what was the reason, what was the purpose, but your parents decided just to put you in boy clothes and give you a boy name. And even though you were a pretty little girl, you were forced to go to school as a boy. You were forced to go, in society's eyes, to be a boy. And knowing that you were a girl, knowing that you were a natural girl, wouldn't that be confusing? And wouldn't that be a little bit more stressful, don't you think? At that point in time, it's not really allowing anything. It's just you're a child who feels this stress over it. You're a child that feels this discrimination towards you. And it's something that obviously I didn't want to allow, as you put, to it to affect my life in a negative way. And I tried for many years to avoid the transition, to avoid talking about it, to avoid anything that would make me unnormal. And that is what got me sick. And that is what got the seizures to come on. That is what changed my life, is the fact that I did hide it. As I'm sure you would if you were a child who was, being represented as a boy your whole life. And you would be confused. You'd be confused about boys. You'd be confused about sexuality. You could be confused about everything that goes along with life, and you would make up a person that you think that people would want to see, and that's exactly who I was. That was my whole life. I have been what I thought society wanted from a boy, and that was the Fonzie. That was Joe Cool guy. And I lived up to that, and I made myself this character. And deep down, I knew that that's it. It was just a character. And going through your life like that is very disturbing, and it's very hard. And so no, I don't feel like I allowed the stress to affect me in any way. I feel like I had no choice. And I feel like the stress itself is something that fed into it all, because when I came out, there wasn't that much. All the stress and worry that I had put into, if someone found out, it didn't really matter. And now I see myself as, I see my outer self as matching my inner self, and people see me that way as well. It's tough for people that knew me from the past to see me like that, but I know they're working on it, and all I can do is tell you that it's not your clothes and your makeup that make you you. It's not a material thing that makes me. And if you would, I understand your comment. I understand that that's your opinion. I respect you for it. But try and consider it like that. Try and realize that this is something that we most of us have realized when we were in diapers. Little out of diapers, that we were different, something wrong with us, and there was no answers for us. There was no, especially me. I was 36 years old when I was a child. I was terrified to even bring it up. So if you could imagine the stress that you go through as a kid, and not even knowing better, whether you allow it to violate you or not, or whether you allow it to change your life or not, as a child you don't know any better. And it carries through, and it carries through, and it carries through until you're an adult. And as you're an adult, you've spent your whole life trying to hide it. And it just becomes all too much. Also, there's a sweet comment from a 60-year-old woman on my timeline video, and I loved it so much. Thank you for posting that comment, and good luck to you. I hope that your transition's a smooth one, and I hope that the people in your life will remain around as they did in mine. Okay, I think that's it. I think this video is done. I'll try and get on here and get a couple more up for you, because I know I'm lacking. See ya.